Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
And today we are talking about Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy. My favorites. Yay.
The ones that you don't need anyone else to do a podcast with you.
No, I promise you guys, I could just talk about Grey's to myself all day, every day.
One of these days that is going to happen because of scheduling conflicts. And it'll be all you. And I will listen to it on repeat.
So I think the Halloween episodes are always one of my favorites in Grey's Anatomy. And I almost don't, I haven't watched the first couple of seasons of Station 19, so I am not as in the loop. But this is my first Halloween episode that I actually really remember of Station 19. And I think they've had them before. I know they have, but
they had to have had them before. None of them really stick out to me though.
But I love this one. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was really good. There were a lot of good stuff, a lot of not so good stuff, but
what are you talking about? Beckett was in the mood, man. He was in that spirit.
I was like, why of all things is it Halloween? But I mean,
well, he was just picking on Maya.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk a little bit more about Maya later, but the one thing I did want to say when I was watching it, I was like, okay, enough is enough. Maya needs to get her stuff together, and Beckett needs to start acting like a leader because I agree that he had to show Maya who's boss. He had to put her in her place.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just bullying. Enough.
It is. It's almost like hazing when they're new, and it's in bad taste, in my opinion.
Yeah, I did not appreciate his prank. I was like, that's not a house prank. That's, picking on one specific person.
But when he came around with that mask, oh my gosh, I actually laughed. I LOL'd. I laughed out loud.
The clown mask?
Yes.
I screamed too.
Because you didn't expect it to be Beckett.
I actually watched this episode twice because I watched it with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I still screamed the second time. I was like, why am I screaming? I know what happens.
No, it got me a tiny bit, but I more laughed at it than got scared. I was like, oh, this is hilarious. Because it's just a side of Beckett you never see.
No. And which is why it was so, I guess, disconcerting. I was like, so we have fun Beckett now?
All of a sudden. Out of nowhere. Only this one day of the year.
But then Ben was still he's still on Team Maya. I don't know why anyone is because she's so annoying, but it's okay. I got you. I'm gonna get him back. I got you. I'm like, she obviously doesn't care if anyone's on her side. Why don't you just throw up?
When at the end, when Ben did get Beckett back, let me tell you that I forgot about the prank thing, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I
what
thought
happened to Ben?
The episode was going to end. I was like, oh my god, what are they gonna do to Ben? And then
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then he's like, I got you. I was like, what is happening? Oh yeah.
The same was me. I was like, okay, so in all honesty, the fentanyl thing has been such a big play in the medical dramas lately. Mm-hmm. And he had the foam come out. So I was like, oh my gosh, did he get into some candy? Because they have that rainbow colored fentanyl candy. And I was like, did he get in some candy that had fentanyl in it and he's ODing right now? That was too real almost to me. That payback.
Yeah, it was. And
I was scared.
Small part of me was wondering, oh my gosh, she's, he's OD'd and Beckett's gonna come and think that he's faking and just walk away and it's real, but it wasn't. So
but I also like that he called man down. Nobody came. Did you notice that? Nobody came.
Well, I mean, wasn't the Halloween
Party
that
going
Halloween
on.
house happening
Yeah. But
downstairs?
can you imagine if that was real? No help. Poor Ben.
Don't they have some kind of alarms like in the firehouse that they can like set off? If I don't know,
I have no idea, but
if
I was
someone
a little
foaming at the
concerned.
mouth of OD'd. Like,
I was like, man.
I don't know how firehouses work, but I feel like that should exist.
Oh, also, not to backtrack, but we are going to backtrack a little bit. First of all, then this new campaign manager, I'm trying to think of his name right now fast and I can't.
I can't remember his name, but I
I-
don't know what to think about him. Like,
Oh,
I kind of like,
I
I kind
like
of
him.
like, he amuses me. But then at the back of my mind, I'm like, can we trust him? I don't know. He seems very gung ho on being his new campaign manager because, you know, Vic's upstairs eating all the candy.
Yeah, but I think that's how a lot of campaign managers are. Like I've watched a lot of other shows, and that is how like campaign man. I mean, think about what's the other show? Like Parenthood.
Parenthood, yeah, with
Yeah.
what's her name? I know who exactly you're talking about. I
Yeah,
forget
like
her
how
name.
like gun
Yeah,
hole she was on like wanting to be
she
the
was
campaign manager
super.
and like
Well, I guess that's the campaign manager's job is to be pushy. So I mean, that's essentially his interview is
yeah.
talking himself into a job. But I hope Travis says yes because he could really use the help. And I don't know if Vic's adventures, you know, in the drama club is going to be terribly helpful to him.
But did you see the sparks between him and Andy?
I liked it.
I did too. I was like, ooh, okay. So somebody brand new for Andy. I like it.
I like new people because then it's like she's already been through everyone else. And it's like, no. You know what I mean.
Poor Andy.
But it's like she already has a history with everyone else.
Yeah.
And we need to get new people in here. This is getting old. We can't keep spinning. I call it the wheel of relationships. We can't keep spinning the wheel of relationships, hoping it lands on someone good. Like, just bring in someone new and fresh.
I mean, hopefully this guy is authentic and doesn't turn around to be like a spy or something for Dixon, but
oh gosh, I will be so sad if that turns out to be what happens. I'm really just hoping he's a good guy who wants to help Travis.
I did too. And I get the feeling usually I have a pretty good radar when it comes to Sean DeLand and new people. I usually don't trust any of them for at least a season. But this guy, I don't know. I just immediately drew to him. And also when he brought his niece, that was the cutest.
Niece London. She said I was supposed to dress up as her, but she meant like London, like the London. He's like, what was it? He said I put in one of her hair ties.
I don't want you to be me. I want you to be London.
She was Peter Pan.
I loved it. That was so cute. That actually kind of sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, me too. I was like, okay, so he has a niece who he's willing to look like, you know,
A box.
an idiot. Yeah, he was willing to wear a box for. So hopefully that means he's a good guy.
Hopefully. I think so though. I have a good feeling about him. And I hope.
Well, now that you put the whole being a spy for Dixon in my head, now I'm freaking out about that. So okay. I'm not so sure anymore.
We already owe $4. Every time we complain about Dixon, we have to pay $2, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good rule because Travis does it a lot.
That cracked me up too. I was like, oh no, he's gonna be broke.
Well, like Vic said, they've already raised enough for him to fund his own campaign.
Oh, I'll throw in some money too. I think we've complained about him plenty.
At one point, I was really expecting him to just throw in like $50 or, you know, whatever. Be like, here's $50 so I can complain about Dixon whenever I want.
It's not a bad idea.
It sounds like a very Travis thing to do. Like, I could see him doing that.
I mean, he's gonna complain about him. He deserves it. He deserves all the hate talk. But I can only imagine how old that gets when all you're hearing is just negativity.
Yeah, may as well cash in on it. So, but
Exactly.
speaking of cute costumes, what was it? Prue had like 3 Halloween costumes or something. She had, I think, at first she was in a firefighter costume. That's what we saw her in, like when Ben was showing everyone a picture. And then we'll talk about this a little later for Grays, but she was an Ewok in Grays, which
Yes.
oh my God, I love that. And then she came dressed as a basketball player. I'm like, this is just so typical, like toddler for them to have 3 Halloween costumes.
He was a soccer player.
Was she a soccer player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they were going, no, it's soccer. No, it's football. No, it's soccer.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. But no, that cracked me up. And also I did get a little bit, and I'm okay. I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say something really fast afterwards. I did get a little bit disappointed in Ben when he started complaining about Miranda working again and having like back-to-back surgeries and not being able to bring Prue. But at the same time, I was so impressed with Vic for stepping up and saying, you can't say that. Like, you cannot put down Miranda Bailey for saving these people's lives and doing what she does amazingly. And I was like, oh, hey. Because I mean, she's been out of work since they've gotten Prue. And this is her just now going back. And then if Ben's going to start demeaning her about her job, I'm sorry, who's making more, a surgeon or a firefighter?
And she was talking herself out of going back to work for such a long time. And she finally got back by finding
don't guilt her.
Dude that, she feels really passionately about. And now her husband is making her feel guilty about that because she can't bring their daughter to a Halloween party.
Yeah. But thankfully Joey does.
Yeah.
And that was so cute too, by the way.
I love seeing Joey.
I do too. I think Tuck disappeared. I don't know where he went. He ran off.
Yeah.
We like never even hear about Tuck anymore, I don't feel.
We do, just not by name.
Like, I'm like, it's Joey and Prue. Where's Tuck?
That's all we need. Just Joey and Prue. That's it.
I bet he's with his dad sometimes too, though. They're not 18 yet, right?
I think. Oh no, we remember last week the Let's Talk About Sex episode.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we saw him there though. It was just his class though. So I think he's in high school.
He's definitely in high school.
Yeah.
I think he might be close to graduating, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty close. I'd say like 16, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Girls on Fire 2.0 discussion?
Yes.
That was my first thought. As soon as that came up, I was like, oh, now we're doing Girls on Fire again?
That's exactly the thing that came to my mind when she said it. I was like, Stella, where are you?
It's like,
I don't know. That's
Chicago
that we're talking about.
Yeah, they just need to head on over to Chicago and see what it is.
Stella's doing it. But I love it. I love that they're gonna do something. I knew as soon as she goes, there's no little girls dressed up as firefighters. I was like, oh, here we go. I knew there. It's like I immediately felt like there was a Girls on Fire 2.0 coming. And then she came up with the idea. It's like magic. I like it. Let's do it.
Love it.
But I know we were talking about Maya a little bit earlier, but let's discuss this fire this season. Ooh, this episode. Because I saw it coming.
As
soon as they picked up those fire things, I was like, "Ooh,
freaking idiots!"
Right? I'm like, you're grown people. You are not 6-year-olds.
But before they even get there, Maya's been overworked. I guess she's been like trying to prove herself, and she's working all these and like shift after shift after shift, like back-to-back shifts.
Yeah. And
okay, here's what I was thinking. Is that even allowed to happen? Because
I didn't think so.
Because we'll get into like Theo's whole thing a little later, but are people allowed to just pick up extra shifts whenever they want? Like,
I think they can. I mean, Haley did it last week on Chicago PD. Remember?
Yeah,
or
at least she had. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, at least she had Trudy, who was like questioning it. at some point, but like at what point does someone like step in and say, hold on,
It should
this
have
is
already
not safe.
happened.
No more overtime for you, go home.
Yeah, and it's because Beckett, I mean, he just doesn't care about her. To be honest, he doesn't, I don't think he's paying attention.
He does care. He cares about punishing her.
Yeah.
And
So
that's it.
her working over and over again, he's not going to freaking say anything if she's not going to say anything. So I think he just lets her do it. And
That's not cool.
either it's either that or he just sucks at his job, but he's not even paying attention to what his people are doing.
I feel it could be a little bit of both. I mean, what kind of captain wants overtired firefighters on their team?
No, because if you lose one, guess who that's going to look bad on? Beckett.
You. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, I guess we can only hope at some point he makes himself look bad.
and him telling her just go home. And he was like a complete a-hole to her, sending her home. I know I said it last week. I don't like, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, but I don't like Maya. She's not my favorite. But she also has feelings and she's a human being. And I feel like she is just falling apart so fast right now. And I know Karina's worried about her.
I just feel like, let's say Pruitt was still the captain.
Mm-hmm.
If he was still around, or really anyone who cared more about Maya than obviously Beckett does, they'd probably be like, you're overworking yourself.
Yep.
You obviously need help. You are off shift until you get yourself some help. But no, Beckett doesn't care. He doesn't care if she's there. He doesn't care if she's, there and overworking herself, like working herself to death. He just doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't like her. And I don't know if he likes anybody, to be honest. But he especially does not like Maya. And so he's just gonna keep punishing her over and over again.
He
I don't
doesn't
know.
like anyone. He doesn't respect anyone.
No. And that's a huge problem.
Chicago Fire, one of the things I love is how Bowden so highly respects every single person in that firehouse, and Beckett doesn't respect anybody.
Yeah. I mean, respect's a two-way road. That's why nobody listens to him or respects him, is because he respects nobody in that house. He's not a good captain.
Yeah, that's why everyone is constantly not taking his orders. They constantly go against what he says.
Yep. So
because they don't trust
he's
him.
had to figure that out because he wants, I feel like I was just saying that, Beckett was kind of growing on me too. In this episode, it's like the beginning of the episode, I was like, okay, like he's being funny, but
he lost me at the prank. At that prank, I was like, he needs to grow up and move on.
Yeah. Dumping it just on Maya put a really bad taste in my mouth. And then the very end, when he was telling Maya to go home, and just how he's
not telling her to go home, because I've seen, there's a big difference between I need you to go home and rest because I'm worried about you, and go home, get out of here, I don't care.
Yeah. And the only reason he said anything is because Theo called him out. And only reason.
Thank you, Theo.
Oh yeah. I mean, really, thank you, Theo, this week, because he was absolutely right in every single thing he said. Karina could be pregnant right now. Maya could be a mother right now. They don't, I mean, either way, that's almost like anyways, like it's just Maya's life is a human life, and Beckett needs to be a better captain and take his job seriously and protect his people.
Yeah, because that fire could have gone terribly, terribly wrong if it wasn't for Theo.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have gone terribly wrong, and like you said before, who would have taken the fall?
Yep.
Or he wouldn't have taken the fall, he would have been blamed.
Maya also went against Beckett's orders this episode, which I also feel like if she's trying to make up for all this and climb her way back up, completely doing the opposite of what he's saying to do doesn't help her case either. Even though, I mean, it ended up being a good thing.
I feel like both sides are wrong here, though.
They really are. Like her climbing up that Ferris wheel was just so dumb.
Like, I can see why Maya is working herself so hard, because she wants to prove herself. But at the same time, she needs to accept that, there's a new captain and that's not her job anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's like she doesn't want to take orders from anybody else.
Well, that was made very clear in the Ambo on the way to the what was it, like like fall festival, whatever
I
it
don't
was.
know what it was. It was like a Halloween fest, I think.
Yeah, the Halloween fest, but I don't know, poor Theo, he was just trying to be helpful. He was like, I stepped down because I wasn't ready for it, and she's just
Yep.
going on and on about how first of all, she said, I had a team that respected me, and I was like,
Did you?
did they know? Was that in your imagination? Because I don't remember very many people
liking you,
respecting you.
Yeah.
I think maybe Andy did because she's your friend and for some reason she loves you. But I don't
get it.
I don't know if anyone else really respected you. So, I mean, that's false news.
Exactly. But I respected her a lot during that save, though, because she was not leaving that man there.
I was really scared for that man and his kid, especially when Maya jumped in. I was like, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
So, get screwed up.
I didn't know how that was going to go. I was like,
I was pleasantly surprised that they made it out. Like, I did not think they would.
I knew as soon as we saw from the outside and they were like looking for them to come out. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Theo got her. I immediately knew that was coming.
Yeah, but for a little while, I was thinking the dad wasn't going to make it.
Oh, me too. I was like, Maya's going to have to like drag this kid out and leave this dad. And this is going to be a horrible Halloween, man.
What a scary Halloween.
Right?
That would have been. Yeah.
Those dummies don't need to be sword fighting with torches anymore.
Yeah, and then the way I thought it was funny the way that Theo and Maya reacted to them sword fighting with the torches. They're like, oh no, don't do that. That's not safe. I'm like, well, that's an understatement because they're about to set this whole place on fire. And then as soon as that flame went in, they just ran away. I was like,
of course, run.
Kids, this is why we don't play with fire.
I don't know why. I thought the guy who apparently got scared and beat the other worker, the whole reason that they were even there, I thought he would like come back and be like play into something. I don't know why, but he never did.
No, I think he was just the reason how they got them there. But
I guess they probably already kicked him out before they got there. I mean, that's just how some people react by getting scared. It's not his fault. Just punch a guy in the face.
Work in a haunted maze, you have to expect to, get punched and kicked. Exactly. I guess. Wear protective gear. That's not our problem.
But I don't know who to feel worse for at this point, Maya or Jack.
Well, Maya's crying in the shower, and then you have Jack, who's seeing dead people.
Holy moly, this was an insane episode, like a really heavy episode for Jack.
Oh yeah, I feel like I've said this like in almost every episode so far, that ever since episode 2, I feel like I've been saying, okay, maybe now's the turning point. Okay, this time. But I don't know, this episode was, at least at the end, it was kind of promised. I feel like Jack has to hit rock bottom before he can come back.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if he hit rock bottom this time, but he's getting pretty close, if not.
I think he needs to go get checked out. I mean, why is he seeing Vasquez everywhere?
Well, he was taking his pain meds.
Maybe that's
because he was on his pain meds, or I don't know, but it was weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she also gave him that pill though, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that was like LSD or acid or something.
Maybe. It was just weird. And then he's seeing Rigo everywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, maybe you're dead.
Maybe you're dead. That cracked me up.
It's like, am I dead? He starts screaming at, what's her name?
Eva.
She's like, what? And he's like, oh, good, you can hear me.
I was not paying attention for a second, and I turned, And I heard Jack screaming for Eva, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, did she just like OD?" Because I saw her take the pill, and then I got distracted with something, and then I turned back around. And he's like trying to wake her up. I was like, "Oh my gosh, did she just die?"
No, we're not that lucky. Sorry, everyone. I don't want anyone to die. I just want Eva to go away.
Go away, Eva.
However they choose to make Eva go away, I'm fine with.
Yeah. No, she really peeved me off today, letting him get his booty kicked in
But
that
you know
bar.
what? Sounds like she's done with him. So hopefully that means,
Good.
yeah.
Be done with him, please.
Yeah,
Move
please be done
on.
with him. Leave him alone.
Jeez
Go
Louise.
screw up someone else's life.
I hope we don't see her again. I hope she is gone for good. Sorry to the actress, but I hope you don't get any more lines.
Actress is doing a great job, and I wish her the best of luck in her next project, but this character needs to go.
Just as long as you're not in Station 19 anymore. Okay, thanks.
Continue doing your work, but just do it somewhere else.
You're a phenomenal actress. But
You can come back.
That's why we hate you, because you're a good actress.
If you want to come back as a different character who we actually like, that's okay with us.
Yeah.
I won't be sad. Just leave poor Jack alone. But he got to see Prue this week.
No, little Prue.
And I get that he was drunk and they didn't want Prue to see him that way.
It's a Halloween costume.
It's like, I think I can convince her it's a Halloween costume. I'm like,
oh no.
Okay, but I think it was really important. Like he had to see her. And I hope that's really gonna help get him back on track, because it's like, okay, here you can see Prue, and then I hope they come back at him and say, no, if you want to see her again, these are the things that you gotta do, because I know he loves her.
Oh yeah.
So, and gosh, so cute, Uncle Jack. Like,
oh my god.
Oh god, I'm gonna cry. Like, that girl is so stinking cute. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I see her on screen, I'm like, I just want to give that girl a hug.
I just
want to squeeze her. She's so cute. I just want to give her a big old squeeze. But she came toddling over, Uncle Jack. So I don't know. I'm hoping they can, or Andy, because Andy and Vic seem to be the ones who are most invested. I hope Andy and Vic can kind of use that to his relationship with her to their advantage, and be like, we know you love her, and that was a one-time thing.
It's not Halloween every day, bud. You can't come around looking like that. You
cannot convince her every day that you're wearing a Halloween costume. You got to get yourself together. So
no, he looked pretty rough though when they found him, man.
Someone needs to give that man a haircut.
I like how he just pulls it more down in his face.
There you go. Like,
are you a homeless person? Like, what are you? You're a drunk and a drug addict right now. That's what you are for Halloween. Okay. Prue's young enough. She doesn't understand that yet, thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah. I mean, it won't be like that for much longer, but for now, at least.
Hopefully by the next episode we can see him getting his life together a little bit more. I don't think he'll be back to Station 19 for a little bit of time, but hopefully we can start seeing him on an up and up.
Now, I don't want to see him back at
right
work.
Away.
Like, yeah, I don't want to see him back at work right away.
No.
I do want to see him back to, who he is.
Absolutely. I miss Fun Jack.
Yeah.
I miss him being happy. It makes me so sad when he's so miserable right now.
He just looks like a sad little puppy who's been like left out in the rain, and that's exactly what he looked like, isn't it?
It does. I was gonna say
left out in the rain.
Maybe that should be his Halloween costume.
Drunk puppy.
A drunk puppy. A drunk wet puppy. Oh
my gosh.
Poor Jack. Oh well. Hopefully next time.
At least someone in the house was having a fun time this week.
Are you talking about Sullivan and Ross?
No, I'm talking about Sullivan and his internet date.
Oh yeah, the internet date.
And if you're just listening and not watching, I just used air quotes for internet, because obviously it was not a blind date.
Oh, that was I really like them together. I really, really, really do like Sullivan and Rice together. And I don't know, I kind of hope that they can find some way to be public and, not jeopardize either of their jobs. I don't know how to do that, but
Yeah, I hope they can find a way to make it work because Ripley and Vic were working out and they were semi-public before he died.
yeah, I don't know. I think because but
I don't
Sullivan and
remember.
Ross have already gotten like heat about it.
Yeah, well, and also they've already been used as blackmail.
Exactly.
But they can get rid of that if they just come clean about it because is it really a big problem? I mean, it's not like they work at the same station together all the time.
But she's like his boss.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
But
I'm sure there's a way there, but
there has to be a way because I love them together.
like she says, like it's her integrity that she's worried about, both of them, and her job. She said my integrity and my job. So I think it's like for looks too that she doesn't want to be, not only for her but for him too. Like, are you sleeping your way up to the top? They're going to think about him, and then her being a woman, and sadly, her being a woman, and what's her position? I can't even think right now. It's not chief. Is it
Yeah.
chief?
It's the fire chief. Yeah.
I fully believe that people at work should do their jobs, but I feel like people's jobs should have absolutely no say so in their lives if they are not paying them for that time. I've always believed that I feel like you can do whatever you want to do if you're not on the clock, but when you're on the clock, you got to follow the rules and do your job, which you get paid to do. So I don't think them being in a relationship should be a problem at all unless it starts affecting their work.
It shouldn't be a problem, but unfortunately, people make it a problem.
Exactly. And that peeves me off so bad. But also him getting so mad at her for going on a couple of dates.
Is that not what it sounds like? That's something they'd agreed on.
It is. And that's why it really bothered me. I'm like, why would you say that to her and then get mad at her and storm off when she says she went on a couple of dates?
I mean, even if he didn't like that agreement,
yeah,
it still wasn't right for him to get mad at her. He could have been like, well, I already wasn't okay with this arrangement. Let's not do this anymore. But no, he just had to be mad at her for going on a date. Oh. But as it turned out, it was a terrible date and she didn't go on any more after that.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully.
They're both really good looking, so.
Him in the robe lighting the candles. I was like, hey, Sullivan.
Like, ooh.
I was like, that's never a side of Sullivan I've seen, I don't think, before, in like a red velvet robe.
That was quite the fancy setup.
I know. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, it's all sort of fancy and romantic. I wonder what they're doing for Valentine's Day. That's what Halloween is.
Oh, I guess we'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah. I hope we get to see.
I don't want to see everything. But
no, just yeah. Not like the awkward parts that like we feel like we're shooting for, but like just, we want to see a little something.
Exactly. But for next week, it looks like our boy Dixon is starting to get some smear campaigns going.
It's about time. I mean, not that. Sorry. I guess that means that Travis is going to start looking good in the polls if he's looking to, what is it? Public intoxication?
Yeah. Did he have public intoxication?
That's what I was about to ask you. Like, I don't remember if this is something that actually happened or if they're just going to take a picture of him and make something up.
I don't know. Because like I said, I haven't watched every episode, so I didn't know if I had missed
I don't
that.
know. Maybe they'll I hope they explain it in the next episode. But what I'm thinking is that it's a picture from some kind of event and it's being taken out of context.
I hope so. I mean, but even so, you think every politician out there has a squeaky clean background? No.
Absolutely. Single one of them. They are perfect human beings. But it also looks pretty intense. I have to say I was
Yes.
hoping Maya, like we wouldn't be seeing Maya for a little bit, but it looks like she's back to work next week. She was in the preview.
She probably never left.
Yeah.
She
She's
was still in the shower at the station.
I mean, I say this like I'm joking, but I don't think I am. I mean, maybe she's just living at the station.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Karina had to bring all of her clothes up there to clean them. So who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know what she's doing. I need to go up and just smack her one time. Maybe knock some sense into her.
I'll
But
marry Karina. She seems awesome.
I'll sign up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the factory fire looks. I feel like anytime we have a factory fire, it's something bad's gonna happen. I don't think anything bad's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna kill anybody off, but factory fires always scare me. And it does look super intense and dangerous.
Like a hazmat
Yeah.
situation they're gonna have going on.
It's like something was eating them. Like they're even
like
eating their suits.
Like something about like the battery, or I don't know if it's like some like factory where they make batteries or something, because
I think they were melting down batteries.
Oh yeah, because then they were saying like if we don't get them out in so many minutes, like they're gone like
20 minutes. Yep.
So they're gonna have to work fast next week.
Intense. I'm here for it. I like it. I like intense episodes though. So I think that's it for Station 19. And now we can move on to Grey's Anatomy. Yay.
I can't tell that's your favorite at all.
What?
It was a good episode.
It was. Poor Levi, though. He is getting pulled in every direction possible.
Yeah, like he is. I mean, thank goodness Richard finally saw a problem, because he was bound for, well, we'll talk about Simone's whole thing later, but he was bound for, another storeroom meltdown.
Yeah.
At some point, but I'm hoping that changes. It seems like Richard is not going to allow that to continue much longer.
No, I don't think so at all. I think Richard knows that that's.
And I like how he accepted that he's part of the problem, and like no more pulling the interns for, fun little activities, because he pulled them for pumpkin carving, which I'm like, okay, it's like I can get how pumpkin carving is, a good like skills lab type thing.
Yeah.
But not when you only have one resident.
I know.
I was like, and is being asked to do like 10 surgeries and like run 8. Of course, I'm making up these numbers, but that's what it feels like he's being asked to do.
I know. I'm like, this was not the right time to be pulling these interns to do all these labs, and what Owen had him doing surgeries on cadavers and then the pumpkins. I was like, what are y'all doing?
Because I get that these trainings are important, like time does need to be set aside for that, but they also need to be aware that they can't keep dumping everything on one person.
Yeah, and really like on Halloween.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's one of their busiest nights.
Yes, a lot of stupid people do stupid things on Halloween.
Exactly. So this was not the time, but I mean, I did like the pumpkin thing. I thought it was very creative, just not the right time.
Richard, he even went all the way to all the way. He even went to so far as to tracking down a Helm.
I know. She's across the street. It's okay.
She still seems happy at the bar though, so
we'll get her back.
They keep bringing her back, so I mean they have to bring her back to Grey Sloan at some point.
To me, otherwise, she would not be. They would not show her in multiple episodes if she was not coming back.
Exactly. Like, why are they going to bother to continue showing her week after week if there's no hope of her returning?
Yeah, no, she'll be back. I don't.
I really need her back.
I know.
At the hospital. She was one of my favorites. I loved her.
I did too. No, I desperately want Helm to come back. I can't wait. I loved Helm and Levi's relationship, like in the hospital as well. I liked their kind of, I liked like their bickering kind of, back and forth with each other, and it made it, I don't know, those seasons, though, I mean, their residency seasons just sucked in Grey's, to be honest. As much of a Grey's fan as I am, it was just a sucky time. So I feel like we didn't get enough time with them. And I wish that, but I really liked these interns. I really liked Levi and Helm and Perez and who
Who
else?
else?
Those are my top three. I don't care about anybody else.
Those are the only three that I liked, really.
Yeah.
So I guess
I don't care about anybody else. Everybody else can just stay gone. I don't care. Except Nico. I kind of wish they would bring back Nico.
Oh yeah, he hasn't been on.
Mm-mm.
Are he and Levi still together?
Obviously not.
Well, Levi hasn't been talking about him, so I guess they need to either stay together or stay split. Pick one.
Absolutely.
It's like, I just want both of you to be happy. And this back and forth is not making anybody happy, especially me. That's what's most important. I'm not happy.
Exactly. We have to all make Eve happy.
Yes, it's all about what I want. I don't care about Levi. I just want me to be happy.
You want me to be happy. Bring back Helm. Hashtag bring back Helm. I think she's coming back though. I really do. It'll take probably Meredith to go over there. Her crush. I like how he tried to use Meredith.
I hope, no, but seriously though, I hope before Meredith takes off, because she is going to take off.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Some point, but we'll talk about that in a little bit, because it looks like they are really starting to build up to that.
Yeah.
So hopefully before she takes off, she can go and make some, I don't know, inspiring speech to Helm, and then
bring her back. But hopefully, I mean, poor Levi, man. They're gonna have to take some things off of him. I mean, the interns need to not only practice on cadavers and pumpkins, they also need to be practicing on real patients and real cases.
Poor cadaver Chris.
But poor I almost just called her Mary. What's her name in the show?
Jules.
Gosh, thank you.
I know exactly
all I could
who you're
think
talking about.
I was like, oh, Mary Queen of Scots. Jules, I thought she was very upset about these cadavers and them being wasted on this lesson that Owen was doing for them, which I felt kind of bad.
Like, I can understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking, well, how do you think these cadavers should be utilized if not for practice?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's
like
what they're for.
Because I feel like it would be disrespectful, like, because their loved ones signed off, or they did, or their loved ones did, signed off on their bodies being donated to science. And wouldn't it be more disrespectful to not honor that request, that they be used for education and research and all that good stuff?
Yeah, that's what they should be used for.
Exactly. So
I mean, but that poor one he died pretty fast. He died again, I guess. Pretty quickly. They needed to get better about communicating with each other during surgeries.
That was so classic. I mean, didn't they do that exact thing in season 1?
Oh yeah. Fight over who gets to do what and what needs to be done. And it's their passion. This group has passion, like the Magic team did. They had passion. They loved what they did. They wanted to be there 24/7. Like, I feel like a lot of the other interns who have come in after them have, like, we've seen a lot of more of their life outside of the hospital, and we never, we did with the Magic team, but it always came back to medical, always came back to surgery.
There was always that really good balance between their getting to know them personally, and then also getting to see them, how they exist within the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that we're getting back to that, because lately it's been a lot more things happening outside the hospital.
I like it. I mean, I'm in love with the season so far. Anyways, Lucas, woohoo, he won the chance to scrub it on the surgery. And I was so excited, first of all, for him, but at the same time, I was so impressed that he wanted all of them to scrub it on the surgery. I'm like, that is a true leader right there. And I think that's what they were trying to show us, is that he will be a good leader. But I loved it.
I love him more and more each episode.
I do too. I mean, I think next episode, though, we will talk about it a little bit later, but next episode's going to get a little funny and weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Funny and weird. Perfect combination.
Oh, and also poor Simone this episode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, did you see it coming that would have been her? Like, when they first showed the interns watching that video, did you think it was her? Like,
I didn't think it was her. No.
Because at first I went back and I thought maybe it was someone specific at Grace Sloan. So like I went back just to make sure I didn't miss anything, but it sounds like they were just looking up videos on YouTube of interns who interns who've lost it or something.
Yeah, I don't know what they were searching, but they found her.
Or just popped up on their phone, because it sounds like the video had just been leaked. So
yeah, I think it was probably one of those that, dinged. They probably look up other videos, that are similar. And
yeah,
I think, how YouTube will like ding you if like there's a video that's similar to a video you watch all the time. I'm sure that's how it happened, but no, I did not. I had no idea that it was Simone. If you watch it now, you can kind of like see her now, but no, they had me going for a while. But that just shows you she really lost it. That was a lot of rage built up for her to.
And she did share with Maggie exactly, what all went down. So it was definitely, kids, there are lots of other ways to let out your anger and frustration, but we can completely understand how it did get to that point. So, and I think I said before that I was really curious about how each of the interns managed to end up at Grace Sloan, because they're all, interns who were asked for some reason to leave their other programs.
Yep.
And we did find out this week why, I keep wanting to call her Maggie. I don't know why Simone was asked to leave hers.
Yeah, now we have an answer for Simone.
And it made me really mad.
It did me too. I'm like, what? She had a bad day. she had a bad day. Why are you going to kick somebody out of a program for wrecking one room? If that was the case at Grace Sloan?
Well, no, that was after, I think, wasn't it? Because wasn't she let go because she pointed out like some kind of racial bias that was going on?
That's right. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember all of the details, but I think like she mentioned how, a white colleague's word was taken over hers. And when she pointed out how, their Black patients were being not treated as well as their white patients, that's when they said that maybe she would be better suited elsewhere. And then when Maggie said, hey, why didn't you like report? And said, I didn't have time because I completely broke.
We see that.
You broke.
She completely broke, and I love Maggie's like, I would have ripped it off the wall. So we obviously, Maggie's completely fine with this. Like I think every doctor would understand reacting this way, because how much hours and work and blood, sweat, and tears do you put into this job, and then to be dismissed like that, I can only imagine the rage that would come out of me.
And along with the specifics behind why she was let go, there was no better person than Maggie to share that with.
Absolutely.
Because Maggie's been going through the same thing she's in a different position, because she's more of a leader, but she knows exactly what she's talking about. Winston's been going through this whole racial bias.
Yeah.
In the healthcare system for a while too.
Also, when she showed the video to the other interns, how they were just almost hyping her up, like they loved it.
They're like, that was you. And then I think they said, you should have ripped that sink off the wall. Oh, I did. They just cut out early. And then they just said, okay, let's go get some breakfast.
I love it. I love that this is a little team that we get again, and they're not. I mean, I feel like the original 5 always competed against each other, and that was the fun part of it. But they also had each other's backs all the time as well, at the
They
same
did.
time. And I feel like that's kind of what we're getting again. And
I do
I
feel
like
like this group is bonding a lot more quickly
I
than
do too.
original Magic did.
I do too. And I think that's because they all know that they're misfits. Like they're all like
They all, for each one of them, for one reason or another, feel like they don't deserve to be there.
yeah.
So
I think
Yeah.
that helps. I mean,
definitely
you know what doesn't help?
jumping off a roof into a pool.
LSD. LSD does not help.
I don't know. It
my gosh.
those kids seem to think it would.
My mouth was just hanging open. Like I was like, ooh.
So remember last week we were trying to figure out what the deal was with someone jumping off the roof or whatever, and you heard it here, Jeanette. You were right. Jeanette was right. He was on top of the ambulance and decided to try and fly again. And of course, that didn't work.
Link got extremely mad at this kid who jumped on Joe.
My sister and I were both standing there, like closing our eyes. And she was like, oh, good. I thought that he was going to land on top of the pregnant lady. I was like, that's not what I was thinking at all. I just thought he was going to like break his neck or something.
I know.
Because they cut out right after he jumped. So she thought that he landed right on top of that poor pregnant woman.
That would have been horrible.
Like, no. We have too much going on this episode. We don't need something truly horrible
No.
add into the mix.
No, not at all. I mean, poor Joe already got her wrist sprained. That was enough.
Well, if that wasn't enough, then, we had to have the dads have a go at each other.
Oh my gosh, these dads. Even though I kind of get it too. I mean,
your kid's in the hospital and you just found out that, their friend gave them LSD. So,
yeah. You don't really think things through when it comes to your kids sometimes when in emergency situations.
Exactly. Luckily, Bailey saved the day with one of her epic speeches.
I love it.
She's just so good at it.
I know. Everyone, because you just listen to Bailey. If like Bailey came up to me in the middle of the street and yelled at me, I'd listen and I would take direction.
I had things to do today, but now I think I need to go home and re-examine my life choices, just like Bailey said that I need to do.
Like a zombie.
Like, I'm going to cancel all my plans because Bailey said so.
I loved her little speech, though. I really did. Parenting is hard. I mean, hard.
Yeah. And I love how she's so, she can be so serious within the context of the speech, but then she also throws in, like, really funny examples. Like, one day they're dressed up as adorable little Ewoks, and the next they're teenagers and they're having sex.
You went a little too far.
Bailey, that was a little too far, but I guess you're not wrong there.
Oh my gosh. That was, I think, our serious, kind of more of our serious case this week. This kid and the
LSD kids.
Was that our only case this week?
That was our only big case, I think.
Okay. They gave us an easy one this week.
Yeah. I loved how that one kid apologized to his friend's dad. I mean,
I know, that was sweet.
And it didn't seem like it was something that his father like made him do. It sounded like he genuinely wanted to apologize because he felt bad.
Yeah, and I'm sure he did. I mean, honestly, kids and teens, they're gonna do things they're not supposed to do. They're gonna take chances that they shouldn't take. That's part of growing up. That's part of learning. Even though your parents can tell you 1,000 times not to do something, that's why there's peer pressure. And peer pressure is so real. And that's why when Bailey said it's hard, I was like, yeah. And mine aren't even teenagers yet, and I already completely understand where she's coming from. Like, yeah. I mean, you can only do so much as a parent. You can only guide them so in the right direction. They gotta learn things on their own sometimes, and
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just kind of point them in the right direction and hope they
just
stay there. It's like, nope, stay within these. No.
I think we call that a helicopter parent.
Well, there's a new term now, snowplow parent. Have you heard that one?
Snowplow? Oh, because we're just
Yeah.
making a bunch of snowflakes?
No, because you shove everything out of the way so your kid never has to struggle.
Oh. Yeah, I see that too. You know what? It's really hard as a parent not to do that too, though. It's very hard. Sometimes I have to just sit back and just let it happen and wince as it happens. Because I'm like, you can't, you have to let your kids fail. You have to let them fail. They're going to fail 100 times, but we failed 100 times. We had to learn. It's how you learn.
So we've got our teenagers being pretty mature, at least at the end of it. And then we have Owen and Teddy doing their thing. I love Owen and Teddy.
I do
Even
too.
going through what they're going through and acting the way they are, I still love them because at this point it's just so funny.
Yep.
Oh boy, they need to figure some stuff out because at some point it's going to stop being I'm afraid at some point it's going to stop being funny.
I mean, honestly, this week, whenever she said something to, I think, Link, like it really seemed serious. Like it was,
She said, what was it? That there's nothing like
ruining each other's lives to ruin a good friendship.
Yeah.
That was a little too real and a little too hard for me. I was like, uh-oh. Like, I really hope Teddy and Owen work through this. And we could probably go back to the beginning of this podcast when we started talking about Grays on this podcast. And I probably said that I would never in a million years want Teddy with Owen because I hated Teddy at the time. But now the show has obviously changed my mind, which I'm sure they tried to do and they succeeded at it. And my mind's always open. But I don't want them to ruin that again. I really, really don't.
Because they've already had put them together and then broke them apart, and now they're back together. And I don't want them to go through that again because I don't like an unhappy Owen. Because an unhappy Owen is not a sad Owen; he's angry.
Yeah, exactly.
And I do not want to do that again.
Yeah, no, but I don't want that again.
I don't know. Teddy, she wasn't wrong because the point she was trying to make was, we used to be best friends and he could tell me anything, but now when he screws up his life, he's also screwing up mine, and now he doesn't want to tell me anything.
Yeah.
And that's not wrong. She's
No.
exactly right. But at the same time, I feel like she's like, okay, you need to hide those feelings, sleep with a lot of people until you're over them. Like, at the same time, Teddy, that's a terrible way to give that advice. It's like, you're not wrong, but the delivery was very off-putting.
It really, yeah. I mean, it made my heart kind of go, eh.
And poor Link was standing there like,
am I in the middle of something?
Okay.
It was a little too serious.
Because I was hoping she would help advise against it, but I was like, no, not that way.
No, she did not. She was all for it, sadly. And then on the other side, we have Winston talking to Owen about resenting Maggie. And I was like, what are we doing this week?
Yeah, I was like, is this break up all of our favorite couples week? Like, what the heck is happening?
Like, hey-o, what are we doing here? Pick on the interns. Stop picking on the attendings. They're good. They're settled. Stop it. We had too many years of this back and forth with all these couples.
Let our friends be happy.
Oh my gosh. But I honestly do think Winston telling Maggie that he wants out of cardio, I think might be the best decision. But at the same time, I feel like Winston was in cardio before he ever was in a relationship with Maggie. And I feel like he's a little bit cheated for the fact that he's done all these many years of cardio and now he's just going to have to switch just so he doesn't have to be under his wife. That doesn't seem fair either.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Is it so important that he stays at Gray Sloan? I mean, if he's as good a surgeon as he is, couldn't he easily couldn't he easily just do cardio at a different hospital? Like, why does he have to completely change professions?
Yeah. Or maybe work opposite shifts. So she oh, I guess.
I don't know. I feel like my go-to, if I was having issues with, working with, my partner at work, my first
Thought would be
solution my first solution would not be to completely uproot my career. It would just be like, okay, well, maybe one of us needs to leave and just work in a different school.
exactly.
So, I mean, I really get where he's coming from, but why does he have to change careers?
And he shouldn't have to. Like that.
No.
That
And
did.
it's not like Maggie is asking him to do that. So I don't know. I hope we get more into that next week or later weeks. But I don't know. That confused me.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of either of those talks between Owen and Winston and Teddy and Link. I didn't like any of them. But I guess we'll see how what happens later on. I'm still rooting for Link and Joe. I don't know what I'm doing in my life, but I'm still rooting for him for some reason.
I was rooting for. I wasn't, and then I was, and now now that they got them back to the point where they're really good friends again.
I know.
Now I'm like, no, I don't want them together. So once
it's
again,
so hard.
Whoever's in the writing room messing with our couples, you need to make up your dang minds and figure it out because Eve is not happy.
I just want Joe with somebody. Oh my gosh.
I need Joe with someone. And if Link isn't going to be it, like, why couldn't Skylar Aston work out?
Krista hates us. I don't know.
Krista, what do we need to do? It's a legitimate question. Get back to us.
You can send us an email.
Wait until the end of our podcast and we'll give you all of our information.
Please email us. Thank you.
We will keep watching your show regardless because we put in a lot of time and energy. But we just want to be happy. We just want to be happy while we watch it.
Please and thank you. Even though we love the drama. I mean, come on. That's why we love Grey's Anatomy.
Well, yeah, that's true.
We love it, but we complain about it.
That's why we complain about it.
Sorry. Can we mention Zola this week?
Oh, she is killing me every single week.
Oh my gosh, my girl's all grown up.
She's a little lady.
She is.
She is a beautiful young lady. Oh my gosh.
I swear she's just getting prettier by the year. I mean, she was beautiful just at the beginning of Grey's Anatomy,
this is the same girl. She's been playing Zola this whole time, right? This is the same girl that's played her ever since we first saw her, since she was a baby.
I believe so. Oh no, it's not. Anila Gums has been playing Zola since season 11 of Grey's Anatomy. In January of 2014, the role of Zola was recast. The new little girl cast to be the daughter of Meredith and Derek was Anila Gums.
So I guess they kind of, I don't know if they aged her or if they just had brought in someone else.
I don't know. So apparently this has been the same little girl since season 11.
Okay.
So I guess anything before that was one actress, and so there's been two actresses for Zola, one before season 11 and then one after. I don't remember when.
But in any case, this is the same Zola that we've had for quite a while now.
Yes.
And she's just a beautiful girl, but that poor girl she's not doing well.
No, she's too gifted for regular school. I guess this is how we're getting Meredith to leave.
Because the way Meredith was talking, she said, because she found a school, and she said it's for academically gifted, but Zola's more than just academically gifted. I am no expert when it comes to gifted and talented, but I know that there are, at least at my school, like when they test for gifted and talented, there are like 3 specific areas they test in.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like Zola is gifted in every single area that one can be gifted in.
Yep. She's almost like a little Maggie, even though there's
Yeah.
no relation. I mean, technically there's no relation, but
And that was a big thing that Meredith was considering is, well, maybe we could have her skip 2 grade levels like Maggie did, but that didn't work for her.
yeah, Maggie was almost just completely against that. They have to do something soon because her having this bad of anxiety and not being able to even go to a friend's house for a sleepover is getting pretty concerning. I mean, I think she's always known about Alzheimer's, but I think the more she's digging into Ellis's cases and the more it's all becoming real, and the older she gets and the smarter she gets, she's realizing that, this can hit her mom anytime. And they could hit Maggie at any time. So I mean, that poor little girl, she just needs some. I don't know how you get the anxiety to go away with the Alzheimer's things because that's not something you could just make go away. That is something
that's not something that can be fixed or
as of yet.
As of yet. I mean, it's something that I don't know, maybe with time she can be given some coping mechanisms, but it's never complete. I mean, the fear that your mom and your aunt, and I mean, let's face it, possibly her siblings someday.
Yep. Can all.
I mean, it's scary.
Love it. Absolutely.
It's okay, Zola, you still have Amelia.
Oh, poor Zola. But I also liked Meredith and Nick's little overnight getaway that got interrupted. But that was sweet seeing them back together. I'm so happy that they're back together.
Oh, he's such a good guy. He was just like, okay, yeah, I'll drive. Like,
no.
Like it didn't even occur to him that not going to pick her up was an option.
A bad thing. He was like, all right, let's go.
Hey, well, she's got to drive and has to stay on the phone. So never mind, I'll drive.
Such a good guy, man.
Krista, let them be happy.
Absolutely.
And make Zola happy.
The only thing
That's the most important.
I think what's going to happen, I'm going to have to put it on the podcast, and that way my word is recorded forever. I think what's going to happen is Meredith is going to find her a school that's out of Seattle, like she kind of mentioned to Zola that the school might be out of Seattle. And I also think that Meredith is going to go more towards back into trials for Alzheimer's. And that way Zola can at least see that Meredith is trying her best to cure or help Alzheimer's. And maybe that will help her anxiety a little bit more, as well as getting into a more specialized school for her and maybe some therapy even. I think with all that, I think that might be how we get Meredith to go somewhere else, is to,
because she does have a lot going on at home. I mean, she needs to get therapies or whatever she needs in place for Zola. She needs Zola to be in a different school, and that alone is gonna,
yep,
in reality, I mean, that alone is gonna take someone away from their work big time.
Absolutely. And really with her being chief, I mean, she's not going to be able to do all that and chief. So that's just going to be her way to get her out. I am curious of who is going to be chief, because I feel like Bailey's still really against it.
Well, they can just give Levi another job. just for another thing. Wait, make Levi chief.
Ooh, bring Alex back.
Yeah. Bring Alex back, make him chief. He was a fun chief.
Oh my gosh, that was a disaster. I wouldn't mind.
I would
being
say
chief
no
again,
one,
though.
I would say no one died, but I mean, people probably did.
I don't know. I feel like he's more mature now. That was also a long time
He's had
ago.
plenty of time away. He's matured. He can come back and be chief. Make it happen.
It'll never happen.
No.
I am really excited about next week, though.
Yeah, after next week's preview, now I'm thinking, is she going to take Zola to Boston?
I think she might.
Because we all know who's in Boston.
Boston. Yep, and Jackson and Tom are going to be in this next episode, which I'm
Tom, that's his
very
name.
yeah.
I love Karasik. He always makes for, really entertaining storylines.
He does. I mean, do we love his character? No, but I don't know. He makes me laugh a lot.
I loved him just in time for him to up and leave.
I know. I was starting to like him more right before he left. And we finally get to see Catherine again too, because we haven't seen her at all this season yet.
Yeah, and Shelby been asking if like she died or something, and I was like, did she? And I forgot.
I know. No, I had the same. I feel like we would have heard something by now, like from Richard. I feel like if she had died. But on the other hand, I was like, well, we also haven't seen her, or nobody has spoken about her. So
we saw her in the preview, so she's okay. I mean, for now.
Well, for now, because she has Tom looking at her scans, which is probably never a good thing.
What kind of cancer is it she has again? Do you remember? I guess we'll be reminded next season. Ooh, next.
You have to wait a whole season.
We have to wait a whole nother season, guys, to find out what happens.
I think it's like on her spinal cord or something like that. I think it's because Tom is brain.
Neuro.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, like brain. He's neuro, so he would be the brain or the spinal. And I think I remember something about it being on the spinal. So I'm going to go with brain or spinal, which neither are good. So also we are a little bit of a humor next week will be Lucas taking Scout to daycare and everyone goes, they totally all think he's sleeping with Amelia, which is so gross.
And it didn't occur to me, for some reason, it didn't occur to me that Amelia doesn't know that this is the rumor that's floating around until she was like, well, I hope you told them that's not what's happening. He's just like,
nope.
Nope.
That's even weirder.
Like, should I have?
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't admit that I'm a shepherd, so obviously letting rumors float around that I'm sleeping with my aunt is,
that's better.
It's the better solution here.
No.
Lucas, I love you, but let's start making some smarter choices.
No. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, gross. No.
Oh man. But I can't wait till next week. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be another good one. Yay. I'm just happy this season is turning out so great.
That's so good. I mean, we're unhappy with a little bit, but at least it's turning out okay for the most part.
It is. It really is. Well, I think that's all we have for tonight.
So we are on social media, all the social medias.
Twitter. All the social medias.
Yep. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. TikTok, that's the other one. All under Fandom Family Chats, except on Facebook, we are Grey's Anatomy Grey Family Fan Club.
So tune in next week for more episodes. Sundays are our Fox night, where we talk about 911 and The Resident. Tuesday is our Peacock night, which we discuss all 3 Chicago shows. And Wednesday nights are our ABC nights, where we dig into Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. We will see you real soon. Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.